Hi, I'm Lucine. Welcome to the Never Ending Card. I'm going to be doing instructions both for the Cricut machine, that includes the free template for the card and the panels, and instructions for if you're hand cutting. If you are doing the Cricut, just fast forward through the hand cutting part and you won't be wasting any time. If you have questions, you can ask them at the Cricut Lovers Friendship Group on Facebook, or you can go to my blog, lindalucine.blogspot.com, and I'll answer questions in either place. And you don't have to have a Cricut to join the friendship group. I'll still answer your questions. Now, if you do the Cricut and you're doing the card, my templates include the panels, which again, the panels are free because they're just shapes. But if you're going to do the entire design with the bunnies and the chicks and everything, you will either have to have access or pay for those designs. Otherwise, just turn them off and cut the template out. You don't need the designs if you don't want them. Okay, this is the card that we're going to be making, the Never Ending Card, the front panel. You open that up and you have panel 2. And then once you open panel 2, you have panel 3, which does have a little bit of panel 2 still on the edge there. Then when you open that up, you've got your final panel, panel 4, and you can open panel 4, which will take you right back to panel 1. So it's never ending. You can just keep going around and around. Okay, let's make one. All right, if you go to Design Space, this is what the free template looks like. It is made up of 4 panels. They're exactly 5 inches long and 2.5 inches wide. If you want to check it, it should open up the right way, but if you want to check it, just measure one of the panels, and if it's 5 inches long, then you're set. You can enlarge it. I wouldn't make it any smaller. It'd be really hard to decorate. So make sure you have a scoring tool of some sort in your machine, and also you want to turn this off, which is right here. It's set to draw, but it's just directions, so turn that off before you cut so you don't cut any of those words out. This is the hand cut template. You're going to cut 4. They need to be exactly 5 by 2.5 inches. Then you're going to score them right smack down the middle and the long way, and then you're going to score them 1 1/4 inch in on both sides. So you'll have a 1 1/4 inch complete square on both sides, and then a score line straight down the middle, which is at 1 1/4. Okay, I've cut my base pieces out, and you can see there's 4 of them, and they're scored. And I'm going to take them off the mat. And I'm doing this one-handed. Set my camera down in a second. Get this out of the way. Okay. Now, what you do when you get your first piece is you want to fold all your pieces on the 3 lines. Each piece has 3 lines. The first one should fold right down the middle, so you want to fold it, and then you want to turn it, and you want to fold it. Then you want to fold your ends and back and forward and back, and you want to do all 4 of your pieces. In, out, in, out, in, out. Fast forward this if you don't want to watch me fold all 4 pieces. You're not actually watching me because I keep getting out of the camera range. Alright, so back, forth, down, and down. Now, take 2 of your pieces and put them right up against each other, nice and straight, and put 1 tiny piece of tape. No, it's not a tiny piece. put a tiny piece of tape in the middle to hold it while you glue. All right, now take your glue. Here's my tape. Take your glue and glue 2 of the corners. Okay. And then you take another panel and you go, and then I glued the wrong 2 corners. All right. You got to glue 2 of the corners that are across. Your piece goes back and forth. So you take your 2 of your panels. If this one is going this way, then this one needs to go this way. And you take and you put your panels right on top, getting it nice and straight. Check the back. You don't want any overlap if you can help it. They should be exactly the same size. Get it right there. And then press it down. And then do the other side. Now when you do this, make sure that you don't have this overlapped. So you want to line that up best you can. But you still need your corners lined up too. So it's kind of fiddling around. If you can't get these to be exactly straight, it's more important that your corners are straight and that you're not overlapped anywhere. So get those in there and press them down. And now you should have 2 going this way and 2 going this way. All right, open that up and take your little piece of tape out. Now we're going to get the card used to folding and opening so you can decorate it. All right. Now, the front is open this way. So the first thing you want to do is get your card used to opening to your second set of panels. And that's pretty easy. It folds on these 2 lines, and you're just going to fold it backwards. So take this and fold it backwards, and take this, you're folding it right there on that line, and you're folding it backwards. Then when you get that, lay it down, take your bone folder, and really get those lines, those folds, so that they're flat. And it should open almost automatically. There's your front. Then it's just going to open to your next inside panel. And there's your next, and there's your inside panel. That's it. That's this one. Okay, that's this one. And you're going to put your squares, you can see you can put a whole square covered on that, a whole square covered on that, but these 3 pieces here are all going to be folded in different times, so you need to keep those separate. So there's your second panel. Again, bone folder, nice. Now, the next one is the hardest, but it still works pretty good. What you're going to do is you're going to take this top flap, you're going to open it, and you're going to fold the whole thing back. This whole top, this whole line right here on the top, gets folded back. So you actually have gaps here. And then the bottom piece folds down. And it folds pretty easy. I didn't do any extra folding, just what you saw me do. And then you take your bone folder and you fold that down. I do not know why that did not cut straight. That was pretty strange there. But it won't affect anything. All right, and that is your third panel. Now you might have noticed that on the third panel, the 2 edges here are the same 2 edges that are on this panel. So these 2, when you fold this back, everything changes except for these 2 on the outside. So you kind of want to decorate that so they'll match because these two stay the same, and there's not going to be anything in the corner. So that panel just has these there. So there's your third panel. And your last panel is another big panel. And to get that, did I bone folded these? I think so. You take these two side pieces and you just fold them back, and that opens up nice and easy. And there's your last piece. And you don't have to, you probably won't have to do anything to that. And then you decorate that. You have a big panel here, a big panel here, and you have two nice long panels there. And then when you open this, you're right back to your front again. So it's never ending. Okay, let's decorate. Okay, this is panel 1. This is the front of the card. Now, this is the one I have and that I've got saved. This is the one I made the last time I made one. So you can change any of the designs you want. The panels that fit on the card, see how they fit on the card right inside. Each panel goes into a piece of the card, and it sits there where it doesn't fold. If you change the size of the panels, it's going to be folding in the wrong place. So the panels should fit exactly inside the card. This piece right here is 2 1/4 inches tall. So if you want to double check it, that's how you would check it. If you want to add your own designs, just take one of these designs away, delete it, and put your own design in there. Just make sure it fits in the little panel. You can overlap it. So you can go off the panel just a little bit. See here? Because the edges are not quite on there. So you can go off it a little bit like I did here. But you don't want to go off too much because it has to be able to fold in all of these places where the folds are. Okay, so that's panel 1. When you cut it out and then you apply it to your first panel, each corresponding panel goes in the spot. So it's set up exactly like it is. When you cut, black out where it says panel 1 over here, so it doesn't cut out the panel 1, because you're not going to need that. So, or just don't cut out the black. That'll work too. Okay. This is how you're going to be cutting your pieces for your first panel. If you're hand cutting, you'll need 4 2 1/4 by 1 1/8. You need one for here, 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 and here. That's these panels right here. Then you'll need 2 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 squares, and that's your big squares here. You'll cut them out and you'll glue them right smack on top of the line that's there, and then you'll cut that on, you'll glue those on the lines that are there. Okay, this is panel 2. Here's the card. The panel 2 is almost identical. I changed it up a little bit from the design that's shared. But again, so you can put anything you want in your panel. So if you want to switch it out, just make sure it fits inside the piece there. You can take that out and put in a different one if you want. And again, it can go off the edge just a tiny bit, but not too much. The extra leaves here is because I want green leaves and the purple flower. So that's there. And again, this piece right here should be 2 1/4 inches long. If you want to double check that, it's actually 2 1/4 inches wide as well. So that's what you need for your second panel. And it goes on it just the way that it is on the screen is how it is taped or glued down to the panel. If you are hand cutting, this is panel 2. You need 4 here 1 by 1 inch square, 1 2 3 4. You need 2 panels that are 1 by 2 3/8 inches. They go right here, see there, right there. And then you need 2 square panels, 2 1/4. They go right there. So okay. Okay, this is panel 3. Panel 3 is a little different. It has a little bit of panel 2 showing. The green part, this one right here, and this one right here on panel 2 still shows up on panel 3, so you're going to want them to match. And there's nothing in the top corners on panel 3, so I've put black stars there. Now when you go to cut this, you're going to want to turn off the stars and the writing right here so it doesn't cut out. So make sure you turn that off. Now I've made some extra bees here in case you want to decorate your flowers or your honey pot with bees. And I've also switched the over layer to draw rather than to cut, because I didn't want to cut these tiny little pieces out of all these bees and the honeycomb. And also the centers of the flowers, I've changed it to draw, so you will need a pen. Actually on panel 2 I also changed the bees to draw, so if you didn't notice that, then I apologize. So this is panel 3. It's pretty simple, and again, if you want to make your own, just take those off and put something else there in its place. This is panel 3. As you can see from panel 3, there are two squares that show here and here that are actually left over from panel 2. So it's best if you kind of do something on panel 2 and panel 3 that are going to go together. So we don't need to worry about those. Those are done. And there isn't anything in these corners at all. So they're completely blank. So all we have to do is these 6 panels in the middle. If you made a template for panel 2, it's exactly the same size as the panels in panel 2. So you need 4 of these 1 by 1, which go on the outside corners, and then 2 of the 1 by 2 and 3/8, which are the 2 that go there. So just cut those out and glue those in, and you're good to go. Panel 4 is almost exactly like panel 1. In fact, it is exactly the same cut. It's just turned sideways. What I did on panel 4 was make one solid design. And you can do this, but when you do, you'll have to cut it. As you can see right here, you can't have anything overlapping. So what I did was I cut this design right here like so, and then glued it to both sides. I didn't cut anything out. I just cut it in half and put half of it on one side and half on the other. So the whole design is there. I just cut it in half and put half on one side, and then I cut it here and put this on each side. So you just got to cut it till you make it fit. See, this little bit went over the edge a little bit, but it didn't go over far enough to interfere with the fold, so it's okay. So that is panel 4. And again, if you don't like my designs, delete them or just do the panels. The panels are free to cut, but you have to have access or own the design to be able to cut the designs. This is the last hand cut panel. If you if you made a template from your first panel, it is exactly the same sizes, 1 1/8 by 2 1/4, 4 of those, here, and 2 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 squares. The only difference is that these go up and down where the front panel went sideways. So be very careful that you don't get them mixed up when you go to apply those. Well, that's the end. I hope you enjoyed this video and were successful in making your card. If you have any questions, please feel free to join the Facebook Cricut Lovers Friendship Group. Even if you don't have a Cricut, I'll be glad to answer any of your questions about the card template, or you can also catch me at the blog spot. I also answer questions there. Hope to see you soon.